All right, this is Cody for Paranormality Magazine. I am here with Jade from Ghost Club Paranormal. Thank you, Jade, for sitting down with me.
Thanks for having me.
So you have quite the following: 48,000 followers on YouTube, 13,000 followers on Instagram, and you consistently get tons of views. How did you do it?
Okay, so I started YouTube 3 years ago. So, I do know more people who have had like crazier growth than I have. I've been pretty like slow and steady, and I think the quality of the people who are actually like following along the journey in that and knowing them like really, really helps. But that is, I think, a reason why the channel is successful as well, is because I care about these people and I genuinely talk to these people. And, I always say like my emails are always open, my Instagram inbox is always open, and I have like genuine connections with the people who watch.
And
And
that's
and
really
the content's good. The content is good.
the content is good. Um, I've been a follower, so I'm kind of fangirling here. I'm not gonna lie. So this is kind of awesome, but like that's great that it's authentic
Yeah.
and it's not like some AI or some assistant that is saying, "Hi, this is Jade," but it's really not Jade. The fact that
Well, yeah, like I know a lot of well, not a lot, but I know some YouTubers who don't even comment back on the comments that they get on their videos. They'll like pay somebody to respond back to comments if they need to. Yeah, and I don't know. That's the most fun part for me, is the premieres and interacting with the viewers.
and obviously you started it just to document what you were doing. Did you think you were gonna blow up like you have?
Nah, like I really didn't. And but I mean, the whole point of this for me personally wasn't just to investigate, it was to like build this community. And just like a little bit on the side here, when I first started off, my Instagram was because I had like done a Ouija board and something really crazy had happened and I wasn't too sure what to deal with it. So I started to look to like local paranormal groups and I was asking them like, what do I do? And I got 100 different answers on, oh, like you need to burn the board, you need to bury the board, you need to break the board, no, don't break the board, hire a priest, like. And it was just like a lot of information. And I was kind of like, well, I'm just going to start looking into it a little bit more. And, I don't ever want to be in this scenario again where something like crazy paranormal happens. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
So you couldn't find like a straight answer, so now you're out there finding the answer to the question yourself, and
Pretty
and
much.
that's great. And I'm actually so this is obviously I told you this is going to be in our October edition, but in my November edition, I'm actually featuring a story, actually two stories about females breaking down gender roles in the paranormal community. Because if you look at a lot of the big creators, like the ones that have the TV shows or even on YouTube, it's really male dominated. And it's hypocritical of me to sit here and say that, being a male, but I realize there are these positive people in the positive females in the paranormal community that are actually doing good stuff and you know, not doing this for, the wrong reasons. And so, the fact that you have built this audience organically and, 48,000 people is not a small number when it comes to YouTube, because you can search paranormal on YouTube and there's thousands of creators,
Mhm.
and there's only a handful that have that number or higher.
Yeah, like right now, yeah, I'm sitting at 48,000 or something like that, but it's strange because a lot of paranormal YouTubers I seem to see like on YouTube, it's like they're usually at around like the 20,000 mark, or they're at like 100,000 plus. And it's a weird gray area to be sitting in this like 48,000, like in the 40,000, place. I'm just like, I don't know. It kind of seems like this is the tip of the iceberg, maybe. Because I don't know. YouTube is so weird. Sometimes, I can, just gain like 2 subscribers one day, the next day I'll gain 200, and it works the same with the episodes as well. It's sometimes I'll get over 70,000 views, which is way more than how many subscribers I have. And then sometimes, they won't do, well, I'm not going to say not do as well, because if one person watches, it does well in my eyes.
And that's great. It seems like you're really not focused on the numbers. So it's not like content is being driven by numbers. It's numbers are being driven by content. You put out quality content, and the numbers just follow along.
Yeah, 1,000%. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it does feel really, really good when one of the episodes start doing really well. But at the same time, I feel like it's like I'm not obsessing over it. And when I started my YouTube journey, one person that I had, was working with, I won't name any names, but that person did, obsess over the numbers and everything like that. And it ultimately, it just isn't a good way of life. And if I'm not having fun, then I just don't want to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't want your content to, like, you have a bad video, you don't want to have to change your content to get those numbers. And that's what a lot of people do. They put the shock factor in there. They hype up these videos, but there's not a lot of, and what's funny is I'm a paranormal investigator as well. So when you go into these places, there you could sit there for 3 or 4 hours with no activity.
Mm.
That's what the YouTubes don't really, or the TV shows don't really show, is these quiet moments.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody wants to hype up the oh yeah, oh, did you hear that door slam? But then you got people that are faking evidence, and it just, you know, you don't have to do that clearly to be successful.
Yeah. Honestly, like my views on that are the people who fake evidence. Sorry, a notification just popped up. The people who fake evidence just aren't, this is going to sound bad, but they're not entertaining themselves enough, Like if you've gotten to that point where you're faking evidence, it doesn't have to be an insane investigation, But if you're going to put an episode out there, like rather just if you didn't get any evidence, just don't put it out at all. Or if you just want to show what it's the reality of an investigation is like, then you can bounce back and forth with your friend, like put those moments in, because I've had to do that myself. Not every investigation is going to yield insane paranormal, activity, but people still like to just see the realness behind it as well.
I get excited if, like, because I cat balls, things like that. If I get a cat ball to go off once, it's a successful investigation. Like it went off. I try to debunk it, and if I can't debunk it, hey, guess what? I got the evidence here that, hey, look, something is happening. But yeah, do I like it when stuff goes crazy and doors slam and, like, yes, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's usually the ones that are like you're most scared for, or you hear the stories about this place, or you've just forked out a bunch of cash to go and investigate this crazy location, and then you get there and sometimes it's just not your night. So you have to be very patient as well.
So you've been to quite a few places here in the U.S., and you've also done investigations overseas. Now, obviously, the United States is a younger country, so there's not as much history with some of these buildings as opposed to going over to the UK or whatnot, do you see a different type of like spirit, like a different type of haunting in like those older buildings over there, or is it just pretty much the same?
I would honestly say it's pretty much the same. It's just different stories, different history, but it's pretty much the same. Yeah. I mean, over here you have like the Virginia cities and, all those places out in Nevada, which is close to, I'm in California. There's not too many haunted places out here. So I like to travel in Nevada quite a lot, and just the stories with the gold rush and, so many mining fires. That seems to be a big thing. Just hundreds of people losing their lives, like very tragically.
I
Yeah.
see that you have an episode coming out. It's already going to be out when this article obviously is released. But you went to the Goldfield Hotel.
Yeah.
You've been to the Nevada State Prison. You've been to the Torture Museum. You got locked in at the Torture Museum. So like you do all these like crazy places. What's it like? Like how do you decide I want to go to this location as opposed to that location?
Honestly, I wanna go to all the locations. So it's just kind of a matter of, um, do I have enough time? Because I also work. So I work Monday to Friday, and then I investigate weekends, and then also Monday to Friday, I edit during there. So it's just literal work 24/7. But yeah, if I have like a week off, then obviously then we plan bigger investigations, travel somewhere. I mean, I had the summer off, so I was like, okay, the UK, um, and then it just all depends on budget. I mean, how much they're asking for. Um, if there's anybody who can, sometimes, they're okay with just doing like a free investigation as well. But money is a huge part of it, sadly. Yeah.
Yes. Have you had locations push back because you're not as famous as a lot of people?
Pushback as like they don't
Don't
want
want
me
you
there.
to record or don't want you to be there? Have you?
Yeah, so actually, like this summer, I had my first like, I don't know, the UK is weird. I've never Sorry, I'm getting too excited. This is a very fun conversation. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I'm having fun. I'm glad you. I want you to come on here and have fun. This is why I started my YouTube channel. I wanted to bring people on and share their stories because we're a community. Like this is like my followers might not follow you, and your followers might not follow me, and then it just spreads our content out there. And then I had written a story about myself, submitted it to the magazine, and they're like, "Hey, we like this article. Oh, by the way, do you want to come write for us?"
That's so
And
cool.
so I'm like, "Sure." I never thought myself as a writer, so and here I am, and I found my niche as doing interviews. I have fun just talking to people, hearing their stories. It's a great time. So
Yeah.
you were saying so the UK is a weird place, and you got some pushback?
Yeah. Um, yeah, so 2 years ago when I went to the UK, I just done a lot of more, kinda like abandoned locations. I didn't really book any locations. My nana had passed away, so I just wasn't sure when the funeral was gonna be, so I just didn't book anything. But this summer, I was like, "No, we need to really book locations and, do the whole shebang, like, go in there with, get our B-roll shots during the day and all that." And, I had a list of places where I wanted to go, and I had somebody in the UK that was organizing them for me, just because the time difference. And one of them, I'll just name, it was the Ancient Ramen. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it is a really popular haunted spot over there. And I believe it's like £65, which is roughly about like I don't know, like $80 maybe or something, um, to do an investigation there. But I think they wanted, I think it was around like £700 if I wanted to go film for YouTube. And I'm like, what? Do I need to show them how much I make on YouTube? Or like, this is wild. Like, how it's so strange to me that, you know, these people would want more money because it's going out there when really it's kind of like free exposure. So I'm not too sure what the thought process is there, but that happened with three different places over in the UK. And it was the second, like, they were totally up for it, and I had to cancel one of my investigations because um they heard when I was coming, they were just like, "Oh, if this is for YouTube, then nah, like we don't really want you guys filming because we're gonna turn these places into hopefully like something else." So I think it was like an old folks home or something like that, and we don't need any crazy, you know, stories going out there and this place being recognized. So yeah, that was really, you know,
I think that would
disheartening.
be cool, a haunted retirement home. Like that's where all us paranormal investigators are going to go when we're, it's time for us to go to nursing homes. I want it to be spooky.
Exactly. There's a niche for it.
Yeah, I mean, look at you got all these conventions and these people that just love the paranormal, and yeah, I would totally like. There is um an antique store about 40 minutes from here that is haunted. It's a former Knights of Pythias temple, and I've investigated there twice. They're actually turning it into a haunted Airbnb.
I love
So
that.
I'm like, sign me up. I would like to stay the night in a spooky place. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I've looked into like buying my own spooky like building that has some like real good history to it and things like that. And honestly, like when you really sit back and kind of go, oh, is this, would it be successful? You know, would it make any money or anything like that? It's just kind of the answer is no, unless you really buy something, you know, very extravagant, like an insane asylum or something like that. But yeah, it would be so cool to own a haunted building. That is just absolute goals.
I'm working on a residential case right now. I'm pretty sure they'll sell you their house because they want out because it's pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, I do residential cases here and there, and I have to say this one that I'm working on is probably the worst one that it's not demonic, but it's very dark. And what
Right.
makes matters worse is the one of the children is psychic and can you know um, project as well as the father, so
Mhm.
he can actually channel whatever spirit, and he's not as strong as the child, and has lost control of his body because of it.
Yeah, it's
So
not good. It's so I mean, it's so hard when it's in your own home, you know? That can really, really put a strain on your whole entire life.
absolutely. And here's the thing, and this goes back to what you were saying. It's about money when it comes to a lot of these locations, and some of
Mhm,
them do things that I would say are questionable, if not disrespectful.
mhm.
Um, I'm not going to name locations and say, but there are some that they had a convention, they had a photo booth where their people were wearing straight jackets,
Mm,
and that's not right. And then
right.
the other one has an escape room.
Mhm.
And I understand you got to make money to keep these locations going, but like seriously, when your place was an asylum and
Yeah.
people were stuck there, and
I
people
think I
were
know what you're talking about, by the way.
we're we're not going to name names, but like people are stuck there, and now their spirits are stuck there, you're mocking them.
Yeah.
And that goes back
Yeah.
to, people are in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. One other thing as well, which kind of like touches on the subject as well, is back to kind of like people faking evidence and things. There are actually some locations out there that are legitimately haunted, but for press or whatnot, they do fake certain things to make it more haunted. And that is one of my biggest pet peeves because it's just like, you have a haunted location. And if you're setting things up to make it look more haunted, then it's so disrespectful. Like, and it's frankly just a waste of, I don't know. I just don't like it when places do that. If you have a haunted location, don't do that.
No, and there are TV creators that do that kind of stuff. Zach Bagans. So I'm
That's so funny you said that.
because like he every place he goes, it's a demon. It's a demon. It's a
Yeah.
demon. And it's like, listen, statistically, 1% of the time it's going to be a demon. The other 99% of the time, it's just an angry spirit that just can mimic demonic activity, but it doesn't mean it's demonic.
Yeah.
Like the statistics say that it. Sorry, Zach, it doesn't work that way, and he goes over the top, and that goes back to my thing that I said earlier, and you said it too. It's being genuine when you do your content.
Hmm. Yeah, when we done the Goldfield Hotel, the episode coming out tomorrow, when you guys watch this, it will already be out. Um, but Heather, the caretaker, was giving us a walk around, and I didn't know anything about the Goldfield Hotel. All I'd heard about it, I'd seen a clip of a brick being thrown in the basement from the Ghost Adventures episode. And when I said that to her, I said, "Oh, the brick from the basement." And she just looked at me and she was just like, "Totally faked, so faked." And I was like, "Oh, that's really sad. That's just so like." And that was that might have been their first season that they went to the Goldfield Hotel. I know that they went back, but this was like what kind of got them on the map was this brick being thrown. And
It was
yeah,
just some intern that threw the brick. That's that's
I don't know what if it was on a string or what. I've not like analyzed the video, but she, as the caretaker, she was very like, this place is haunted. And then the second you mentioned Ghost Adventure, she's like, no, no, no. But it is the same thing. It's just like if you're in a haunted location, like and faking things in a haunted location, then like it just confuses everything. And then people go, I don't know what to believe anymore, you know?
and that's the thing. And I've been on a podcast before, and we were actually talking about Zach. And Zach is a businessman. He is
Hmm.
in it for money. If he's not getting people to watch, he's not making money. And I
Hmm.
can't fault him for. I mean, that's what he does. He's a businessman. He makes money. This is how he makes money. Um, but it gives the community a bad name, and people get a wrong perception of what we do and what we go up against.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't like, I don't know if it was faked or not. It could not be, it might not have been like, but that was one of the questions that I had for the spirits when we were doing like digital recorder session. Like, was the brick being thrown faked? Like, can somebody tell me if this is real or not? But we didn't get any answers on that. But yeah, he's made his money from it. I mean, and he has one of the sickest collections in the entire world from it. And he's just living his best life. And you know, it's the only thing that really kind of, I don't know. I don't really have too much thoughts on Zach Baggins. I really don't think about him much. I'm not gonna lie.
No, that's see, I like being I write for a magazine, and I'm staying up on like popular things or
Yeah.
things happening. I kind of read into all this stuff, and I subscribe to people that talk about it. for people like you, you're just like, okay, he's just another person in the community, but he's over there. He's doing this content. I'm over here with
Right.
my group of people, 48,000 people. We're a big family, and that's what this is, all about. So like it's almost like high school. Like there are cliques in high school and there are cliques in the paranormal community. Like we do stuff like this here, but if you do this, then you can't be with us.
Mm-hmm. There's different levels of the paranormal community for sure. Yeah, there's the people who don't do it for YouTube and just completely look down on the people who do it on YouTube because they don't think that they're being truthful, which I'm really trying to break that, you know, whole barrier around that. But I know that I cannot do that because there's always going to be people faking things, no matter what. But all I want is for people in the Ghost Club community to believe in the message and what we're doing and the activity that we do capture.
Now you just brought someone else in to the Ghost Club, a
Yes.
medium.
Hmm.
So tell me about her.
Oh my gosh. Mandy is such a sweetheart, first off, but she is also an amazing medium. She actually worked with Cindy. I can never say her last name. Cindy Ka. I feel so bad. She's a big medium. She has been on, I think, Ghost Adventures. She's now on Ghost, oh gosh. Cindy Keza. Cindy Keza, is that how you say it? Google her.
I'm googling it.
Well, I'm shocked. Maybe I'm not saying her last name properly, but anyway, she is also an amazing medium TV personality. So Mandy was mentored by her, and then she has just been growing this crazy freaking medium. So are you looking her up right now?
I'm looking her up right now. So you know what? Now I feel so bad, like because
You definitely know her.
I know her because Cindy was on the Holzer Files on the
Yes.
Travel Channel, and I actually am supposed to here very shortly interview Shane Pittman,
Okay.
who was on the Holzer Files and now is on 28 Days Haunted. So, um, yeah, so now I feel like really terrible, and everybody's gonna see this, and it's fine, but like
I'm
I'm
sorry.
horrible with names. That's the problem.
Me too. Show me a picture. I'm such a visual person. Like, yeah, totally. Don't feel bad about it. But yeah, Mandy, she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And I've tried to bring people into Ghost Club before, and it's never worked out. And it's sometimes it ends really badly. And for the past year or so, I've just kind of been like, you know what? I'm just going to do this by myself because it's not working out with anybody else. And I've always wanted Ghost Club to be like an actual club. I wanted to have like a team. I wanted to have maybe like 4 or 5 of us, 6, 7, 8 of us. Like I wanted it to be a team. And it just never really worked out that way. And then I met Mandy and it's just feels so right. And she's the only like female that I've like really like wanted to bring on as like to the team, and just our vibes. And she stays over at my house and we genuinely hang out as friends. It's not all business, and it's just really cool. And when the both of us go into a haunted location, it just like it just starts happening. And I think it's amazing, and she just wants to learn, and she's just so grateful and happy, and I'm so grateful and happy that she's on the team.
And that's always great when when you go into a location to do an investigation, when you connect with your partners, it makes it easier to
Mhm.
get evidence, and it makes it like there are people that I investigate with that like I don't even have to say something, and they're already thinking about the next step, and you're
Yes.
already in tune to what you want to do next. And so when you say something, they're like, all right, and they just follow your lead, or you follow their lead, and you're like dance partners. And then you get some people that it's clunky. Like, not everybody is going to work well with other people. I mean, I've had it where people don't like working with me. I don't like working with other people. It happens. But then you got other people, and it's just like, boom, boom. Like, hey, when's the next investigation? Because this was
Mhm.
totally fun.
Yeah, well, that was the biggest thing with Mandy too. A lot of people who I've investigated with in the past, who have been wanting to bring on, they're very like restricted, or they're doing something else, or it's kind of like, we can make maybe like one investigation like every like couple of months, but I really, really want to do this, and it's kind of like, well, that's not, I invest every other week, so it's and but Mandy, she's just like, where are we going, what time, what day, and yeah, just having that kind of like same availability as me as well, like really, really helps. But she's just ready to do all the investigations, all the locations, and that's how I am as well. So to have somebody who's matching that energy is just like it just feels unstoppable right now. And I just feel like great things are coming.
And I see you on on your Instagram, and like your post, it's like you would think that you guys were childhood friends, like how things are in your post, but
Yeah.
in reality, that's not the case.
Well, when we first met, we first met actually at a paranormal convention, and then, but when we like really like first done our first investigation, we were met each other for like the real first time, spending time with each other, and that was like an 8-hour drive out to Nevada, and so we had a long time to just talk, just the two of us, and we were both thinking like, oh, I hope she's cool, because this is going to be a really awkward car ride. And the how deep we got in that car ride, and just talking about our upbringing and our personal lives and our family lives, and we had so many similarities. It was like really, really weird. So I think from that moment, that's when we just totally bonded from there, because she understands what it's like, and I understand what it's like for her, and yeah.
And I've noticed that you've brought your dad and your stepmom.
Hmm.
So you guys went to the not real quick to change gears real quick, but you went to that abandoned missile silo, and then there was somebody being chased by the police, possibly by a helicopter. We don't know. All I know is there was a creepy person in the background of one of the videos, and there's a police helicopter and possibly blood. Did we ever get an answer to? No
we
answer to
never we never got an answer to it. I will say though, like, look in that video comments. I mean, I really showed that blood. I wasn't even too sure if that was like if YouTube was going to take that down or what. But I took the chance. I put the episode out anyway, and it's blood. It's fresh blood, and a lot of people, like, you just have to look at it and be like, that 1,000% that's blood.
see?
Um,
I'm a former
and
EMT. So,
oh.
so actually, my first article was paramedicine to paranormal. So, like, I saw that and I'm like, that's blood. I've seen quite a bit of blood in the back of an ambulance and accident scenes and hospital rooms. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm like, where did it come from? And if I saw that personally, I would have been gone. I would have been, I wouldn't have been as in depth as you've been in filming it. I would have been like, "Yep, that's blood. We're gone."
Well, I don't know if you remember, there was like a box on the wall and the blood was splattered up there as well. And I like opened the box like with my pinky, and everybody, like, my finger didn't touch the blood, but everybody was like, Jade, stop! Like, stop touching things, like, leave. And yeah, I should have, like, I've totally learned my lesson from that, is definitely don't go touching anything if there is a ton of blood around you. Um, that was the weirdest, that one of the weirdest moments in Ghost Club history. And I'm so glad, because I was going to do that investigation myself, and I was going to go up there myself. And I had two people that cancelled on me, and I was like, whatever, I'm just going to go up do it myself. And I text my dad that, and he was like, don't go up there. I'll come with you. And I was like, well, I'm filming for Ghost Club. He was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll go with you. And I'm so glad that him and my stepmom were there. Or really, like, I do not know what would have happened if I was down there by myself, and if there really was somebody down there with us, what that situation could have turned into, you
It's
know?
just very coincidental. The blood, the guy in the back of the shot with your drone, and then the police helicopter.
Yeah,
It's very like when things start happening over and over like that, it's not a coincidence at that
yeah.
point. It's starting to so like yeah, so would you say that's your craziest thing that has happened, or would you say do you have anything that's even more crazy than that?
Um, Gosh, honestly, like, it's difficult for me to even look back on my episodes. They all just become a giant blur when you do so many. I'm sure I have had crazier things happen. That one was definitely up there, though. And again, that was a video that didn't really get a crazy amount of views. But just like the story is just insane. That was a wild one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at your numbers when I was, doing like research for the interview, and it had 22,000 views. But then
Mm,
your other ones you're constantly 50, 60, 70,000 views, which
yeah,
is almost double what you have in followers. So
I know.
clearly,
Yeah.
so YouTube's pushing it out to your followers and then
Mhm.
pushing it to to the recommended, and that's great, and that's how you build your community. But then when you get one that's 22 and that's half of your followers, they're they're holding it back for some reason.
Yeah, it might be all the blood.
I,
It could be all the blood.
did you make sure you chart that not suitable for children?
Yeah, I always do, and it's so funny because people still in the comments will be like, "Oh, you swear too much. Like, stop with the swearing. I can't handle it." And I'm like, "It's not suitable for children, and that's why I mark it as that. We're all adults here. If you're terrified, sometimes things just slip out."
Yeah, like so last night I actually got called at midnight to this family's house. I've been to their house 6 times, and I was just getting done with my job for the night. And they called me and they're like, "Can you?" The wife called me. She's like, "Can you come over? It's bad." And I FaceTime another one of my investigators, and he's like, "You need to go upstairs and make sure he's okay." And I'm like, "No, no, f that!" Like I'm like dropping cuss words, and I'm apologizing to their kids, and they're like, "No, no." I'm like I used to be a firefighter. I used to be an EMT. Like I've ran into burning buildings. I've been in active shooter situations
Oh
for
my god.
EMS, and I was never as scared as I was like that. And when you're scared, cuss words like it's a genuine reaction. Like if you get something crazy that happens during an investigation, you're gonna drop a cuss word. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like so people can't. I get why people say that because let's be honest. I have an 8-year-old son. He has access to YouTube and he kind of watches stuff that he shouldn't be watching. And I do my best as a parent, but you can't like monitor 100% of the time. So yeah, he's heard cuss words from YouTube. So like I get it as a father, but on the flip side, like you know, this is real world stuff.
Yeah.
Like
And then
so
if I censor them out, then people complain about the beeps being censored out and that they actually like that I swear. So it's like, you just never win.
I, I just think it's more genuine. Like
Yeah.
there are people that will bleep it out. Like, you know, Destination Fear, they were on TV and now they're on YouTube. And it's so amazing to see the difference between
Yeah.
TV where they bleep that stuff out and now you hear
I
Chelsea
love it.
dropping Chelsea dropping the F word. It's like I love it. Like
Yeah,
that's the raw emotion of it. It's not
yeah.
edited down, watered down content. It's like genuinely fearful for her life or my life. Like I've been to a couple of I've been to a location that they've been to. I've been to the
Mhm,
Indiana State Sanatorium
mhm.
a couple of times. If you ever get the chance, highly recommend it. Um,
Is that the one where they heard the scream down there in the basement? Maybe not.
that was Randolph County Infirmary
Oh, okay,
where
okay.
she heard the hello. Are we talking about
I think
the?
so, yeah.
Yeah, that was which is actually an hour and a half from my house.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh
like I
my
live
gosh.
so I live like so I live in northern Indiana.
Oh,
So
that's
like I'm like
prime haunted location.
I live 7 minutes from the Bell Mansion.
That's insane.
It's so like, but like I'm 3 hours from Indiana State Sanatorium. I'm an hour and 10 minutes from Blackford County Jail, hour and a half from Randolph, 4 hours from Waverly, 3 hours
Wow.
from Eloise. Like it's all like right here, and it's like, and then I have a friend, she's in Missouri, and she's like, yeah, the nearest haunted place is an hour and a half away from me. Like,
Yeah, I would honestly go to say like the nearest haunted place for me is Virginia City, which is an 8-hour drive. And we're so used to it. And we're like, yeah, Virginia City this weekend. Yeah, let's go. And it's like, oh my gosh, to have a haunted place that's like an hour and a half, it would be like dreams.
well, you need to come to. So when you come to Indiana, let me know because like we'll get you in all the cool spots. Like
For
it's
sure.
some of the places here are just it's weird to see certain states have just like this concentrated amount of haunted places, and then you go to, you know, another state and it's so sparse. And I went to California back in May for vacation, and I'm like looking at haunted places nearby, and there's not like I was in Palmdale, and there's not too many close by. Like I could go down to LA and do the haunted tours and stuff, but like
Yeah.
there's no real.
There's the Whaley House in San Diego. That was one that I reached out to recently, and they wanted like $350 an hour or something like that. I was like, again, I don't know who's investigating these places. Um, but yeah, to investigate there for the night, it would have cost like a couple grand at least, which is just ridiculous. So it's like, but or you could go take that 8-hour drive, go to, Goldfield or Virginia City, somewhere like close by, and just $150 or something like that to investigate the night, or even like a haunted Airbnb. Those are always really good to investigate, because it's not extortionately priced. Um, but yeah, not a lot of good places like that here. But I really want to take a trip up to where you're at.
Let me know because I would love to investigate with you. That I think that would be super super fun. But like, yeah, so like the Indiana State Sanatorium, if you go on a Friday and Saturday, a group of 10 people costs $1,000,
Yeah,
which is not bad. It's $100
not
a
bad.
person.
Yeah.
But my group, we're going in October. We picked a Sunday night because it's $700 for a group of 10 people. So
Oh, really?
it comes out to like $70 a person. So it's like,
That's actually really good. I really want to do that. Maybe I could like, you're actually giving me ideas. Maybe it could be like me and Mandy, and then we could just like sell off those extra tickets or something like that, and whoever wants to come can come.
that's actually what a lot of people do. I've got friends that they used to work for Ghost Hunts USA, and we all know the problematic company that was. They were tour guides, and now they're buying slots at these places saying, hey, you come do an investigation with us. And we used to go into these places, and that's what a lot of people do. Hey, listen, I've got extra space, it's $70. And that's how that's how I've done a couple investigations this year.
Yeah.
I got message, hey, we got an extra spot to go to Post Town Elementary. Do you want to go? It's going to be like $65. I'm like, sign me up. Here you go.
Yeah.
There's my PayPal. Let's go. And
Yeah, the good thing about the
then
sanatorium is because it's so big as well. Like people can actually break off and you're not really disturbed and things like that.
my first time I was there, we were with like Ghost. So the first investigation I ever did was with Ghost Hunts USA, and that's how I met, some of the partners that I work with. But there were 65 people, but it's still, because it's so massive, it didn't seem like a lot of people.
Mhm.
But then you get into these little places, and they oversell tickets. So it's like now
Yeah.
you get that when you go to a public investigation. It's people are
Yeah.
going to be walking around, and if you really want to investigate, you got to pay for the private investigation. But a lot of these places aren't really expensive. There's a group here that they've got like 6 locations, and you can book all 6 locations for like 10 people, and it's like $1,800 or something like that.
Mhm.
So it comes out to like $300 a location, or whatever. So
Mhm.
it's like super affordable when you do 6 locations. But
Yeah.
the same people that do ISS own Billy Creek. They own, Madison Seminary, Fairfield County Infirmary. They've got the Old Saloon Jail, or whatever it is. So like a lot of these people, again, it's money. They get these locations, and I love the people that are at ISS. Because they actually care about the community, but they buy these locations, and then they're rehabbing them. You
Mhm.
know, excuse me. So they're putting these money into these locations. So when you go there, you have a good time, and it's not dangerous, because there's a lot of places that are just falling apart. And oh, we're going to charge you $1,500 for your group of 10 people, but hey, there's holes in the floor, and
Yeah.
there's trespassers every night. You can't get a
Yeah.
quality investigation.
I was like when I was in the UK just this summer, and investigated Whittington Castle, and we actually had to get insurance for that and like do like a risk assessment before the investigation, before filming. And it's because the castle is just so old. It's like over 1,000 years old. So that was kind of wild. Like, but I know in the UK they do like insurance is a big thing for paranormal investigations. So I don't know. I feel like the US might start, at
Don't
some point, they're going
don't
to have
say
to
that.
start thinking about what does happen if someone really hurts themselves because you're in the dark most of the time, You don't know where you don't
Not
have your
not me.
bearings really.
I've got this light with me. I'm using my this is normally on my camera, and I'm just trying to it gives me good light down here. That's how I got it set up. But no, I'm scared of the dark, which is probably not the greatest thing as a paranormal investigator.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. Like, I love the dark. Like, I can't sleep if there's even a tiny ounce of light.
That's how my wife is. Like
Mhm.
we went on our date was to go to the Indiana State Sanatorium, and one of the experiments that they had us do was this really long hallway, and it was completely pitch black, dark, and you had to walk all the way down, touch the wall, and come back. She did it no problem. I got like 20 feet, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. And
Oh
she
man.
and then I had a crazy experience in the nursing home section and at the nurses station. I tell everybody this story because it's probably my most, you know, extraordinary experience with the paranormal. So they broke us up individuals, like we were spread out in the dark. You lose one sense, you gain other senses type thing. So they decided to put me in the middle of the nurse's station, and there's this linen closet there. The door opens, and this like white misty figure comes out, walks right past me, and I scream like a little girl. And you could hear my wife down the hall laughing at me as I'm screaming. And then so they're like, all right, Cody, we're gonna move you out to the intersection of these 4 hallways where they intersect. We're gonna sit you in this chair. And when you sit in the dark for a while, your eyes, adjust to it. And 6 other people witnessed this nurse come up to me and put its hand on my shoulder and then disappear.
Whoa. Did you feel anything?
Yeah, like so I had been feeling pain in my shoulder prior to this, because like that's when I went, I was still in
Oh.
EMS. No joke. The next day the pain was gone.
Whoa. That
Yeah.
actually gave me chills.
Yeah, but did I scream when that happened? Absolutely. But like all night I was getting messed with. Like it was absolutely crazy. It was to the point during our 3rd rotation, they put cat balls all the way around me just because stuff kept happening, and no one would be around me, and I wouldn't be moving, and they just start going off.
Yeah.
So it's like
Wild.
It seems like when you go into a location and you're scared, the spirits tend to pick up on that, and I think they mess with you more. That's at least my theory. Like my wife, yeah, she had, something touched her leg and touched her hair and stuff, but she wasn't scared. Me, I'm freaking out, and all this stuff is happening to me. So I think there is, obviously Destination Fear or Project Fear, they do these experiments all based on fear, and it heightens your ability to communicate. And I think that there's some truth to that.
There definitely is. One of my recent investigations, and if it's not out by the time of this interview, then it will be like within the next like couple of weeks. But it's going to be my Halloween special episode. And we just done All Saints Asylum, which is a haunted house maze, like a walkthrough haunted house. And that's out in Apple Valley. And the stories there are so insane. Like when I went there and I met the owners, and they were so lovely, both scientists as well, like not even into the paranormal, but a lot of the things that they actually like decorated this haunted house with were all from like antique stores, but also an old funeral home that the man died. So the family was selling off all the old funeral home stuff. There's like embalming tables and like stretchers, and like it's the really, really, like you could just feel the energy walking in there. So me and Mandy decided that we were going to do a walkthrough of the haunted house by ourselves in the pitch dark. And like Mandy, the second she goes in, like she couldn't do it. Like she did go through, but like she couldn't do it in the dark. And it's such a bizarre feeling when you're looking through this tiny little screen, this little night vision screen, and you have to walk through a haunted house, and all you can see is just like clowns dangling, and it's really, really scary. And another thing about that, we talked about Ghost Adventures, and they actually reached out to All Saints Asylum wanting to do an episode there, and the owners turned them down because they know what they're like. So it's kind of, yeah, just to kind of like bring it back to that. But sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
That's funny. You bring up Ghost Adventures. So the 2 Mine episodes that Ghost Hunters did just recently with the Project Fear crew. I don't know if you saw that.
I know of them. I've not watched them yet.
So these 2 mines had like horrific mine fires. They're actually, I think it's in either California or Nevada, so it's not like too far from you. Anyway, Ghost Adventures reached out, and they didn't respond to Ghost Adventures request. But then ghost hunters, oh no, okay, so the people from the mine accidentally sent a thing to Ghost Adventures instead of Ghost Hunters, said
Uh-huh.
confirming that they're filming, and Ghost Adventures came back and said, "We're not scheduled to be there, but do you guys want us?" And they're like, "Oh no, we meant Ghost Hunters."
Oh,
So, and
wow,
I
awkward.
guess Zach got really like, Zach got mad about that, So I'm like,
Yeah,
well, you kind of bring it upon yourself.
yeah. I know, like, I'm so, so glad that Project Fear is now on YouTube. Like, I've never been happier for them. Like, it's so cool that they already have this large following, and the fact that they're even wanting to continue to do this just goes to show you that it wasn't just a show. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, they're genuinely into this, and they're really good at what they do as well. And I believe them 100%. I don't think that they fake anything. And it just goes to show that you can be entertaining and not fake things, and as long as the vibe's right, you know.
And like you, they are big on their fans. They actually respond to their fans.
Yeah.
And like they got the Fear Club, which I'm not part of. I'm not, everybody can get mad. I'm not paying the $10 a month to join the Fear Club. Okay. I'm like, okay, behind the scenes stuff. I've seen what behind the scenes stuff is in the paranormal community. It doesn't interest me because I live it. Okay. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, for people that are not like 24/7 in the paranormal community, it's a great value. You get to see like the behind the scenes stuff, but like they communicate. Like, I'm in a Facebook page or a Facebook group, and Dakota is actually in that group and actually responds to the comments from his personal Facebook. So, like, that is how you build, a community. Like, their show got canceled. They started that Kickstarter, you know, and it was funded within like 6 hours. They hit their goal and they exceeded their goal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well
that
deserved as well.
absolutely, because they don't fake. They're funny, and they just, I mean, they all childhood friends that that
Yeah.
now do this. So like they flow amazingly well together,
Mhm.
and their shows are like, I mean, they show the cool stuff. Like, let's be honest. Um, so I think they're successful because they are genuine. I
Yeah.
think people are now starting to realize the toxic and the drama that's in the paranormal community. And our goals now for 2024 is like positivity, pushing forward, bringing up the small creators that are actually doing good stuff,
Mhm.
and pushing the negativity away. And I think
Right.
that's what's important, and that's what you're doing. Like, that's why I was like, you know what, I want to reach out to them. I want to interview, Jade, because she genuinely cares about what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, your tile, your little tiles that you set up for your YouTube is like, you know sometimes you're like, I'm scared face, but like that gets people drawn in. Like,
That's literally YouTube.
but
That's
it's
yeah.
literally YouTube. It's literally YouTube, but
Yeah.
like, it's not fake though. It's not a fake reaction. It's a legit reaction. It's raw emotion, and I think
Yeah.
that's what drives the content. And I think that's why, I mean, 3 years, almost, to 50,000 followers, you're obviously doing something right. You're very close to getting that play button for 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
And I see you getting that. You keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna get that play button.
That's funny that you say that, because when Mandy was joining on board, like we were kind of like going over some of the business side of things and stuff like that, and And I was, she was really excited, and I was like, yeah, like, I mean, pretty chill here, like, not gonna make you do anything that you don't want to do. Like, if you have an idea, just let me know, we'll roll with it and all that. And then I was just like, but the only thing is, when I get that play button, it's going in my office, and there's just no there's no negotiating on that. But I'm hoping that they send two. I don't know if that's a thing, but that would
I
be
don't
nice
know
if
if
they
you
did
can
send
buy
two.
an extra one, but you guys can
Oh, can you?
rotate. You can rotate like every other month. Like,
Oh man, yeah, that would be a huge accomplishment. Like, it really, really would. And I feel, I don't know. It's not I'm trying to be like, oh, I had my own show or anything like that, but I did have my own show. No, I'm just kidding.
no, you know what? And I would totally do the same thing. So I used to be a freelance news journalist, like a photographer. So I like recorded news stuff, and some of my work got submitted for for Emmy consideration.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, so
Okay.
now now here's the thing. So some of my footage did was part of a news broadcast that ended up winning an Emmy. I didn't get the Emmy, but but whatever. I wanted the Emmy for like personal reasons. So this is funny. It's not funny, but it's funny. So my little sister's just graduated law school, but back when I was going through my divorce from my first wife, I went to Thanksgiving. I go to sit down. It's just me and my son. I go to sit down with my siblings, and my sister's like, "This table is for people that have significant others," and just like kicked me out of the room. So I wanted to win this Emmy and take it to Thanksgiving and be like, "This table is for Emmy winners only. You got to go to another table." So I wanted to win it for personal. I mean, I didn't win it, but like, it would have been like,
So good though.
so when you say, hey, like I got my own show, like I totally get what you mean. Like you
Yeah.
got that thing, you earned it.
Mm.
You want to be proud of the work you do. So yeah, if you get that play button, like show it up, like go on top of a building and scream, I got a play button. Like, and I would support you 100% in doing that because it's like it's a big thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
So,
it is. I'm excited for that. Like, the show um that I was gonna say was, it was for Discovery Plus. This was 3 years ago. So I had Ghost Club Paranormal, and it was like, it was all right. Like, it was starting to grow. And then I took 3 months, flew to the UK, and done a show for Discovery Plus. And it was very epic, and like, first time that I've ever experienced like cameras and all this kind of stuff, and it was wild. I mean, it was so action packed. The places that we went were amazing. It was like the Hellfire Caves, like things like that, just crazy locations. Um, and then I got back and I'd done all my voiceover work, and it was all set to go. And it was like the week before it was supposed to go, we have interviews set, like daytime television, like interviews. It was like madness. And then it just didn't air. And it was really weird. But it was like something to do with one of the cast members. So like that all had to get like figured out. And I think it was anyway, something to do with the cast members. That's my theory on it anyway. I could be wrong, but I mean, but yeah, so that's what happened. And then it was supposed to get set for another day, and then it got pushed back. And it was just like a really, really, really stressful, really wild time. And it was this the same week that Destination Fear got cancelled was the week that they told us that the show wasn't going to air, which is wild because Discovery Plus, I had talked to them in person. They even sent me a Christmas basket. You know how much that meant to me. That's how you know it's legit. And they loved it, and so much money and time and effort and all this stuff went into it. and it just for it to be dropped like that is so bizarre. And still
Was
to
that
this day, I
the
don't have an answer to why they dropped it.
was that the
Yeah.
ghost trapped underground?
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that is because when I was searching you, you have an IMDb page.
I do. I
You
know.
have it,
So
and
stupid.
it has it on there. So I was like, I've never heard of this, and I tried googling it, and I couldn't find it. So like,
Yeah.
that
You'll find like if you go to like if you Google ghost traps underground and hit images, there'll be like a picture there of like the official like picture like discovery picture and all that. But it was crazy in the UK, like, you know, my friends and family were sending me videos of there's like just like during the ads, there'd be like a break and then it would just be a picture of me like with a flashlight and it's like shining and it would just be like this Thursday or whatever it was. But it was literally right before Ghost Adventures aired and it was a really big deal. And for it to be cancelled like that with absolutely no explanation was just really, really like kind of soul destroying. That's when I've just kind of right from that, I mean, like about a year ago, I started to think this is kind of weird. It was supposed to air twice already and it keeps on getting taken off. And then I was just like, you know what? Like I'm just focusing on YouTube because I can't rely on other people to do things like, I mean, make something great. I want to make something great. And that's why when like Project Fear is now on YouTube, it's just like, ah, I'm so glad that they're like really, and they're probably making the money that they deserve as well now. And yeah, and they don't have to deal with all this added extra stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I've heard a lot of things about TV shows being cancelled around the same time that their show got cancelled, and I don't think it's a coincidence that mine got cancelled as well. Like we only got told that week, the same week. Yeah.
yeah, I think there was a lot that went into it. Obviously, the combination of HBO and Discovery, but I also think there are other people that were involved.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say names because we've already said their name multiple times during this episode. But I think that they really cleaned house when it came to paranormal shows.
Hmm.
There were quite a few like that were on that did not get renewed, and it's something about it's very fishy.
Yeah. It seems all very I don't know what the words I'm looking for, just like controlled, you know.
I think egos had to be involved to,
Mhm.
but look at you, like you didn't like you
Right.
didn't like you, but no, you didn't let that ruin what you wanted to do, because you could have said, you know what, I'm done with the paranormal community, packed up your stuff and moved on. But no, now you're focusing 100% on
No,
YouTube.
I'm honestly like I'm actually like more thankful that it didn't come out, and I'm really not just saying that. Like I've had a long time to think about it, and I'm actually more grateful that it didn't come out because now I don't have ties to this group, you know. Like we had good times, but excuse me, there was a lot of like drama on the back end of things that I don't know if I could have came back for a season two anyway, because it's in the UK and yeah, I probably would have, but it's like, you know, it's in the UK, it's been gone from my house for 3 months and then yeah, just being tied with other people that I don't necessarily really feel like fit my kind of, you know, like who I am, or it's just better off if I just kind of like do things by myself.
Plus, you have full creative control of your YouTube. You're the one that does the editing.
Yeah,
You're the one that does everything. So at the end of the day, you only answer to yourself. Like, you
yeah.
can put out content and you're happy with it. There you go. You win.
I'm
At the
so
end of the day,
tired,
you win.
Cody. I'm so tired.
Listen, I work full time in logistics. I do paranormal investigations. I do interviews and I write for the magazine, and I do residential cases.
Mhm.
Like,
That's a lot.
and I have two kids. So
Mhm.
like I am I am I am swamped. So
Yeah.
I totally get it. I'm jealous of you, like, because it doesn't seem like, you know, it seems like your videos are just so natural. Like, I look and watch my videos and me doing investigations. I'm just like, oh gosh, this is so embarrassing. And then I watch yours, and it's just like you were born to be behind the camera, or behind and in front of the camera, like doing what you're doing. It just obviously your show that got canceled from Discovery Plus happened for a reason,
Yeah.
and now you have full creative control. And the same thing with Project Fear. you know it's great that they're breaking up these locations into multiple episodes, and they're hour long episodes.
Mm.
Like, you can show more, and instead of it's 10 minutes of this, 10 minutes of that, 10 minutes of that, and that's
Yeah.
your 30-minute episode. Or if they was an hour long, it's 20, 20, 20. Okay, that's cool, but now you've got an hour. They could do 10 hours long, and you know what? Their fans would watch it. They would
Yeah.
absolutely watch it, and it's
Yeah.
all about building that community.
And that's totally like when you're saying that you look back at your investigations and they're a little cringy, like I kind of feel like, oh gosh, when I first started off, I've just started doing this thing on my YouTube for memberships because I never used to put anything out for memberships, but now I'm really trying. And so I'm starting to do like video reviews of my old episodes. So I just like released one and it's like me watching the very first investigation that I'd done, and it's so cringe and so stupid. And I'm like, why are you talking? Every single time I'll turn the camera around and be like, I'll turn the camera off and I'll switch it back on and be like, okay, so I'm in the room, the hotel room. I just investigated the whole hotel and nothing really much came through. And I'm like, you just skipped the entire investigation, came back to your room and just start telling people about your investigation. Like, nobody wants to see that. It was really funny, but so cringy. Um, yeah, I guess like 3 years ago when I started this, I would have never have went on camera like I am now. Like I've literally like I don't have any makeup on. I just put like a little highlighter on. I'm like, let's do this. But that would never have happened 3 years ago. But the more that you put yourself out there, the more you realize people don't actually care if this is perfect or that is perfect, or sometimes they find the awkwardness or the quirkiness like funny, and it's like endearing almost because it's real. So again, it is like I think the cringiest part is when you try too hard to like present something, but yeah, it really helps as well if you have like a friend there and you're just like bantering back and forth. And then, and I hope that people really love that with Mandy coming on board, because it's a little bit different from what I've put out before, because we are such good friends and we do have these really funny moments. Can it be annoying? I'm not too sure. I'm still waiting to hear the verdict. We'll find out soon.
I'm excited to see that. I'm the type of person that like makes jokes during investigations. Like, it can't always be serious. It
Mhm.
really can't, because like you lose focus on your ultimate goal.
Mhm.
Like, when I went to ISS the first time, they were explaining the rules of the building, and they're like, yeah, there's no smoking inside. You got to go to the designated area. And then I chimed in, or the crematorium, you know? So
Well, you're a dad. It makes sense.
I mean that, and then they didn't like my joke, and it's a true fact that during cremation there's a point where the meat is perfectly cooked. So they did not like that fact.
Oh gosh.
Again, I was an EMT. Like,
Right.
this is the world. Dark humor,
Mhm.
and now I investigate with a woman named Sky and a couple of her partners, and it's just and I fit right in because there are times where it's serious, but other times it's just like it's joke, 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 and
Yeah.
it makes it so much more fun.
Yeah. I think the thing that like I love investigating with Mandy because when we're uncomfortable or scared, we like laugh. And it's such a weird like thing. It's I mean, it happens to me like I mean, I work at a elementary school, you know. I fell off my chair the other day, really hurt myself. And I have like 11 kids like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" Like really like concerned for me. And I'm laughing my head off because I don't know how else to react. And they're like, "Are you okay?" I think I scarred them. like
Gotta get
I'm
them
like, "No,
started
like
early.
I'm laughing because I'm fine. I'm laughing because I'm fine." I'm like, I'm really embarrassed. But it's the same thing with investigating. When something scary happens or startling happens, it's just like we just start laughing, and it's a weird take on something, you know what I mean? But it's also comforting when you can kind of because again, like you, like I've well, I mean, I was born and raised in Britain, so I mean, dark humor is everything there, and that's just kind of where I take it sometimes. Sometimes you need to.
I totally get it. It's the same. I'm the same way, and like
Mhm.
my wife hates it when when like I will I will in the middle of a serious conversation or a serious moment, I will just make like a joke, and then everybody's looking at me like, what the heck is wrong with him? And I think that makes life so much better when like you can in like you're scared to death and be like, the jokester. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. It's just, yeah. I mean, I've been doing this for a while now. Also, Mandy's been doing it for a while now. You've been doing it for a while now. Like you start to kind of, you know, you have your ways. It kind of it's nice because it kind of reels it back in. It gives you the energy and like the okay, like that was kind of a scary moment, but also like funny moment because we just both burst out laughing. Like let's keep going, you know. But because sometimes there's been a few places where I just want to like leave and not come back, like Nevada State Prison. That was one I definitely wasn't laughing on that one.
and it seems like everybody that goes there has like it's one of those dark places.
Yeah,
It's on
it's
my list.
you need to go. Like, I mean, that was actually the first like prison that I've ever investigated. And I've always had a huge fear of prison, like even, just going to prison for something that I never done before. I don't really I've never really wanted to even investigate a prison because I'm so scared of prisons. I love my freedom. I don't ever want to think about being behind bars or anything like that. And going there was just such a huge, like, oh my gosh, I almost started crying. Like I was really holding back tears just doing the walkthrough. And I was just like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Like, and it was just a little bit of mixture of everything. It was just like the realization, like how horrible people being locked in these cells for so long, but also stop having compassion for criminals. Like it was just so weird. It was this horrible battle, and then just all the activity that happened after that. Like, just prepare yourself if you go there for sure.
And the thought that there were innocent people there.
I know that's something that I always go back to.
Like it's just like I'm the type of person like I said, I was an EMT. Like I didn't care if you were a criminal. I don't care like what you've done in your past, what
Mhm.
happened. You're a person, and I'm going to treat you the same as I'm going to treat anyone else.
Yeah.
Like it. I think that's what makes certain people really good paranormal investigators is when they're empathetic
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
things. Because when you go in there and you go into a prison or you go into a location, you're like, okay, whatever, you deserve to be here. the spirits are just going to be mad and they're not going to want to communicate with you. But if you go in and you're empathetic, like, because a lot of these prisons, they were abused or other terrible things happen there.
Hmm.
So if you're empathetic to that, you're going to get their stories.
Hmm.
And that's why I do this is I love the history of the buildings and I want to get stories out there. I want to have that communications because sometimes the best communication or best conversations I have are with dead people and not actual people.
Hmm. It's true. I mean, I'm with you 100% on that. Real people scare me so much more than anything that I could ever come face to face with on an investigation. That's always my biggest worry. Is I'm kind of like staying away from the abandoned places as much now, and I'm just really trying to focus on like, set up locations and doing it right. But yeah, the abandoned places are definitely the sketchiest places for sure. Um, yeah, came in a few weird ones.
And out where you live, there's quite a few because I went from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. I drove there and there was like abandoned gas stations. There was I
Oh
believe
wow.
there's an abandoned water park at one point, and I missed it both times. And I'm like, dang it, I wanted to stop, and I did ultimately stop at one of the abandoned gas stations, and I took my son and we did a tour of it. Like it wasn't a paranormal investigation, but it was just cool to see this
Yeah.
abandoned gas station. And but then you got to watch out for why is it abandoned or if there's bad stuff inside, blood dripping from walls and boxes.
Yeah.
Jade.
I know. Like I feel like around where I am, there are a lot of abandoned places for sure. It's I mean, I'm trying to think like there are some like abandoned towns around here. Uh, I guess that's called a ghost town. But if they're out in the middle of the desert, I'll usually stop over and like kind of check them out. But the other places, like abandoned places around like Los Angeles, those are just so sketchy because there's so many people that go to those locations at night and get up to whatever they get up to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what worries me. And that's why I kind of stay on the beaten path of, I'm going to go to these locations that, you know, they're
Yeah.
taken care of. But like I had to stop. Like it
Yeah.
this abandoned place just drew me in. It said stop. It was also a nice break from driving, because
Yeah.
I did all the driving on the vacation. So like,
I will say this though, like if you're at an abandoned place, and this is talking from this experience, we were in the Canned Heat House in Topanga Canyon, myself and Barrier Beyond, and we were just wrapping up with our investigation, and it sounded like there's only one way in and one way out, and it sounded like there was like 12 people about to come in, and we were like, oh no. What do we do? What do we do? But then we realized that they were teenagers. Um, and the second like that happens, Jazz literally screamed from the top of her lungs, and I'm filming out like a little window, and you can see them over the bridge, and they just take off screaming. I've never laughed so hard in my life. Like how fast these kids ran, because I think that they were going there to get spooked, and they never even made it in. It was so
right, you gave
funny,
them the
but
spook.
that's basically kind of like if worse comes to worse, you have to act crazier than the crazy person coming into that building or
Listen,
just scream.
we're pretty crazy. We go into haunted places for fun. Like this
Yeah.
is how this is our like I can unwind going to a haunted place. Like it's relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I gonna get scared and like stuff's gonna happen? Yes, but
You're,
also like
you're
I
gonna get a
feel
great night's sleep that night.
I feel so energized when I get done. I'm like, all right, where's the next one at? Let's do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
So
totally.
Jade,
Oh,
what?
sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like just about the abandoned thing was just, I think I'm just kind of over getting done like chased by the police. Like that's one thing that like for the next year, I just don't want to have to deal with that, you know. I'm 31 years old, like I need to be like not being chased down anymore. So, yeah,
Yeah, I'm 33. I don't like to be, let the cops deal with more important things than me
right.
trespassing on
Right.
property. Because, and real quick, funny story. So where I work, we have mailboxes for all the employees. Someone put a job application in my mailbox, and in there, like, so they filled it out with my name and stuff, and it said, "Do you have any felonies?" And they said, "Yes, trespassing." So, like, I've never been arrested for trespassing. Like, I don't have any, whatever, people. But
Yeah,
I got that. I think it's somewhere in my office, but like, because I'm gonna hang that up when I get my office finished
that's
finally.
funny.
I'm gonna hang
Find out
it.
who
I
done
thought
it?
it was hilarious. What was
Did you
that?
did you find out who done it? Who put it in there?
No, we have no idea. Like, I was like, I was like, come on, tell me which one of you. But there's like 100 people that could have had access to it. So
Yeah.
like, I'm like, whatever. I some people would have just got mad about it, and I'm just like, no, this is funny because this is what I do. Like, I
Yeah.
literally have the logo. My YouTube is the sharp side of paranormal, and I have a logo made up, and it's on the side of the side windows of my Jeep. Because like
Uh-huh.
I
So
like to
you're willing to,
advertise it.
yeah, that's cool that you're willing to do that. I think that it is good advertising putting it in your car, but I would never put a Ghost Club Paranormal sticker on my car. I would be so scared if like somebody followed me. I'm
I'll
so
put one on my
weird with
car.
that. Like I don't like people knowing where like I live. I'm very open about a lot of things. But the second I moved into my house, like I stuck like a ton of cameras inside, outside, just weird with that kind of stuff. I don't like it. If I get noticed, like if I get recognized, like it's just don't even come up to me. Like this is so bad because I'm just so awkward and I'm just like I don't know. It's like stranger danger, and I'm just like I don't know you at all.
I was just gonna ask. So, have you had people come up to you in public and be like, "Hey, you're the girl from the YouTube channel"? Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, I have. And it's always very like, it always happens so fast and kind of like takes like, the first time it happened was in the UK, which really, really threw me off. And then just recently as well, I was in Virginia City and somebody came up. I noticed somebody walking back and forth and I'm eating a sandwich. I was with Mandy and just eating my sandwich and somebody's walking back and forth and I'm kind of clocking them and they're kind of like looking at me and then he comes back and he says, "Oh my gosh, Jade from Ghost Club Paranormal, it's my birthday. I watch your show and stuff. Can I get a photo?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, of course." And then I stand up, and it's so awkward when you have to give somebody a camera to take a picture of you with somebody else. And I was just like, "Oh, Mandy, like, I'm so sorry." I give her the camera, and then she takes the photo, and then he turns around and he goes, "Are you? I know you too. Are you from Nick Groff's tour?" And she was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Yes." Like this guy is like a true paranormal fan. Like I love that he noticed Mandy and didn't make it too awkward, but that was a really nice interaction. But yeah, so and I say this like, if you're gonna approach me, like approach me with caution, maybe like hand me a cookie first or something like that. Let me like
Hand you some Starbucks. Here you go.
Yes, yes. An iced coffee.
Like, so before I did the paranormal, I had a TikTok, and I did EMS stuff, and I actually got recognized by an EMS student who actually followed my stuff. He's like, "You're EMT Cody on TikTok," and I'm like, "Yes, I am." And he's like, "Oh my god, I follow you," and like, so
Oh, that's so cool. I
I'm
love
like,
that
so
though.
I did a video with him. I was like, when you're at school, because I was in paramedic school at the
Mhm.
time, I was just a regular EMT. I ended up quitting paramedic school to go back to logistics so I could focus more on paranormal, just because my schedule works perfectly.
Mhm.
So I did a video. I'm like, hey, look at when one of your followers goes to the same school that you do, and it's
That's really cool though. It is a huge compliment to be like noticed. You know, I mean, it is a really big compliment, but it's also very alien. So it's yeah. I'm the same way with celebrities as well. Like I used to work with a lot of celebrities, and like the first time I met like Sarah Michelle Gellar, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the Buffy.
don't tell my wife because she rewatches the whole series every year.
Yes.
So she loves Buffy.
I love Buffy too. And yeah, I was so awkward. I used to work at like a wine safari in Malibu, so random. But I had her on tour and she was also with Shannon Doherty as well. So she's from Charmed. So they were both on tour together. And I was just sitting there, like not even looking at her. Like she's like right here. And I'm like, couldn't even like look at her. I was so awkward. So it works the other way around as well. But
Hey,
yeah.
aren't you the guy from YouTube? Yeah. I hate your stuff. That's always my fear. It's like your stuff is terrible, and somebody.
No, those trolls will never say it to your face. Come on.
That's true. I'm like, you know what? There are some people that would say it to my face, like, oh, your stuff's terrible. Okay, that's fine. I think it's terrible too,
Yeah.
and I do it just do it for the fun,
It's probably best to just walk away.
you know
Yeah.
that's the beauty about social media, but it's also the downfall of our society is because like people are just so mean in comments, and it's like, wow, like you said, most people wouldn't say it to your face, but it's like we we've given people the tool to like bully people.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
I
before like my channel like became really anything, I had collaborated with another paranormal investigator who had a lot of followers, and his followers didn't take to me very well. Um, and that was some of the worst comments that I've ever read about like myself. Or I was up all night, like I was like crying. I didn't know what to do. Like, and I messaged this person and I was like, "Can you remove the comments?" And they said no, and they told me to get a backbone because this is YouTube, baby, and you're gonna have to deal with these comments. And I was so like, wait, what? Like that's so rude. Why wouldn't you take these down? Like, and but now I kind of understand it. Like I kind of feel like that was the kick that I needed to just be like, you're gonna have to really, really toughen up. And from this YouTube journey, I've learned so much. Like I've learned to say no. You know, I've been just hated on, but it doesn't do anything to me anymore. It's
haters gonna hate.
laughable. Yeah.
It you know what? You've got, 48,000 followers. You're obviously doing something right.
I
You
have
know,
people
you,
that like me too. Yeah.
yeah. So, like, half of those are people that hate you, and half of those are people that love
Yeah.
you. They just follow you just to see what you're doing. Oh, this Jade makes me so angry, but I'm gonna follow her videos. Thank you, because you're giving me, every time you comment something. And that's the thing with TikTok. Like, so I used to take every negative comment personally, and then I'm just like, wait a minute. Like every time someone comments, someone does, whatever to my video,
Yeah.
that's just going to get it to more people and more people. And you know what? Thanks for making me money.
I I will say that's where I draw the line. Like I'm not on TikTok. I started doing TikTok. The comments are so random. Like you can tell that they're from people that don't want to see paranormal stuff at all, and it's being pushed to them. And I'm just like, the algorithm's really, really weird with TikTok. So I started deleting all my videos. And I think I don't know, I think I've got almost like 30,000 followers on TikTok. I don't even know how that happened. And I just never post anymore because I can't handle the TikTok. Like, the TikTok, I sound so old.
It's kind of like the Facebook. Uh, but
Facebook,
no,
yeah.
like you don't have the time for the TikTok because you gotta bring you. It's 7 seconds. If I or it's not even 7 seconds. It's like 3 seconds. If I don't like the first 3 seconds of video, I'm on to the next one. You
Yeah.
know, so
And
you gotta. It's different where YouTube, where it's your captive audience, and then it
yeah.
gets pushed out to people that are watching similar videos.
Mhm.
I think TikTok, it's just like a random like whatever.
It's so random. And I could honestly, like, on Instagram, I have like 13,000 followers on Instagram. I have 30,000 followers on TikTok. And I upload on Instagram almost every day. And on TikTok, I literally don't know anybody who's following me. I have never had a conversation with one of them. Like, I don't know who these people are. Like, there's such a disconnect compared to like my Instagram, who I'm constantly like chatting with people in the community, and like it's such a positive place. And I can post all my updates on there. And
Don't
same
worry,
with
I'm just pulling
YouTube.
up
It's
your
not.
TikTok right now.
Oh God. Are you sure you want to do that?
Here we go. And
I don't know how.
it's not like, but there are other people that are so successful, like Kalani Ghost Hunter. He's got like 2.8 million people that follow him on TikTok.
See, I've never heard of him before, but is he like a paranormal investigator?
Yeah, he's a paranormal investigator. He's
Oh.
actually gonna be in my town next week.
Ooh.
For whatever reason, my TikTok is not working. So, whatever.
It's really nothing to push or promote anyway, to be fair.
I just wanted to see, like, is it just random people that follow you, or
It's
whatnot?
total random people that follow me. Like, yeah, I don't do TikTok. I watch TikTok, but I don't
I
like,
mean, I love TikTok, and I send my wife stupid TikToks, and she sends me,
yeah.
meaningful ones, like sweet ones, and then I just send her the most inappropriate stuff that I can find. So,
It's 2023. That's how we communicate. Like, that's just how we communicate now. It's through TikToks.
well, Jade, I have taken up a lot of your time. I really appreciate you sitting down. Um, you know, Again, I'm fangirling because I have been watching your stuff. I have been following you for a while, and the fact that you were like, "Yeah, let's go ahead and," I sent you the email. I'm like, okay, 9 times out of 10, nobody responds to my request, and you're just like, "Let's do it," and I'm like, "Yes." So I'm like, "Yes," and
Yeah.
so you've totally made my day.
Oh, well, I love chatting. Usually you can't shut me up. If you want to do like a 5 hour podcast, I'm down. Like, yeah, I can talk
Well,
for days.
Well, I know the magazine's actually working on, or actually getting a podcast, and it comes out in September. So, like, I don't know the full details of like if they're gonna have guests, but like, if they're looking for guests, I'll throw your name. I'll be like,
Yeah,
you're gonna want to talk to Jade because
yeah.
I mean, this was a fun interview. Like the conversation, it was like boom, boom, boom. Like we've been, it says an hour, almost an hour and 40 minutes now. Uh,
Woo!
yeah. So like, I was like, oh, this is gonna last like maybe an hour. She's a busy person, but no, like you've given me, 2 hours of your time, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, I am a very busy person, but I'm also somebody that likes to leave things to the very last minute and challenge myself to get it all done in record time.
I am the I tell my wife, listen, you don't need to keep reminding me every 6 months that I need to do something. I will eventually
I
get to
know.
it.
I know. I know.
Well, Jade, thank you again, and I wish you all the success because you're out there doing it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you inviting me. And thanks everybody who made it to the end.